Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your girl Mitzi, and this is Mitzi. Let's think about it. Today, we are thinking about the imposter syndrome. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pretty sure you didn't really think about it because you don't really know what's happening until somebody tells you, and then it's like, oh, I can't believe that's what I'm feeling. Because once I Googled the definition, I was just like, well, this is definitely not what I thought it was going to be. So I'm so glad that I have Diamond here so that she can give us her perspective on this matter because this is important and we truly need to think about this. So thank you again for coming on my show, Diamond. How are you doing today?
I am awesome, and it is an honor to be here. So thank you for having me.
Great, great. I know. I'm so glad to have you. I knew that was going to be a great conversation. So I'm just ready to dive in. Let's peel off that band-aid. What does the imposter syndrome truly mean for the ones in the back that don't really know? What can you go ahead and explain it to us?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, and I'm going to use myself as an example, I've been in business for 4 years. I survived COVID. That's a big thing for businesses because many businesses had to take out grants and maybe shut down because they just couldn't sustain it. But I survived and grew. And now I'm in this phase where I'm starting a new facet of business. So it's something different from what I did before. I'm still helping people, but now I have what we're talking about, imposter syndrome, because it's something new and because it's something that I haven't historically charged people money for to say that they're a client. I'm now questioning my ability in business because it's a new facet, which is absolutely insane because all of the knowledge that it took me to grow the first business, spaghetti testing is still spaghetti testing. Google ads and Facebook ads and all of the marketing strategy that it took to get that off the ground, that's still applicable. It might look a little different online, but it's still, you know,
It
the
is,
same
it
stuff.
is. And I
And
think
so,
that's crazy that nobody really talks about this, you know what I mean? Because we keep it to ourselves, because the whole entire time you were speaking about what was going on, and I'm pretty sure it was all in your mind. Because you even said it in the beginning, I survived, I kept thriving. I was still progressing in a time where progression totally took a halt. You know what I mean? A halt to the point where people just even drop dead, literally.
yeah.
So it comes to a point where we all are achieving so much and doing so much, yet we forget to realize, you know, we've done it. You know what I
Kind of,
mean?
yeah, kind of the journey that it took to get here. Cause it's like, I'm starting from scratch. Like, I have no email list for this business. I have no social media for this business. Like, I'm starting from scratch, but it's like, no, you're just beginning like a
Mm.
new facet, which is only going to expand you spiritually even more. Like, for me, at least, I chose to stop doing one business so I could focus on the thing that I know that I'm meant here to do. So,
That's beautiful. That's beautiful because I hear that all the time that, people just stop going in a direction that knew that was toxic for them. You know what I mean? Toxic for their spirit, for their soul, for who they were. Like they felt themselves dying slowly and dreading to go to work and dreading to live their lives.
yeah.
And it wasn't until COVID happened where we realized like, whoa, 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 burnout is real, where they finally diagnosed that burnout was a thing. But we've been burning ourselves out for so long. Like it's if it's a rat race, you had to have four jobs to be acceptable, or you had to be handling so many plates all at once to be able to say that, oh, you're doing something. So my question is, do you think comparison is the kryptonite to success? Or what are your thoughts on that?
So it's funny. I say mindset is the kryptonite to success, especially success in business. But when you talk about comparison, where does comparison live?
In your
So
mind.
so to answer your question, I agree. But um and for me it's further run home by that saying is like comparison is the thief of joy. And so when you're comparing your journey to somebody else's who maybe has been at this longer than you have, or maybe they, if they're starting a new facet of business, maybe on the back end, not on the front end, like social media wise, but maybe on the back end, their email list was getting opportunities to gain early access to this. And so now it just looks like when they launched, they had all of these people all of a sudden. But what you don't know is the back end of that. And so when you are comparing yourself to that person who's, seemingly in this better space,
Yeah.
you kind of have to you have to be where you are, and you have to be okay with that. And that's where the self-compassion and self-grace and self-forgiveness comes in.
Yes. Oh, I think that's beautiful. I'm so glad you said that. And I want to go back to the fact that you said mindset, because mindset makes it more, because there's more categories of mindset. Because you even said it when you said, well, preparing, it's in the mind, but there's more in there. I mean, when you think of the
Yeah.
mind, it's like a jigsaw puzzle constantly turning and moving, or what? I mean, I don't know. My jigsaw is moving. I don't know about yours.
Yeah. 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 Always.
But I,
Always.
so it's amazing to see that our mindset overall in general, depending on how our mind is set and how what you accept to be your thoughts, it depends on where your success is going to go. If you're even going to be successful in business, in a relationship, in love, in your family, with your money, with just your time, because some people can have good everything else, but with time they fail, or vice versa with anything else that I just said. So I think understanding your mind and where it's leading to you, then you realize like how you can flip the switch and really make things different. Because I hear people all the time talk about, oh, you can't reinvent yourself at such a young age, because it's the, like that said, starting from scratch. Like, oh my goodness, where do I begin? And it's amazing to see with everything that you just said. It's just like, well, you just proved them wrong. Like you just proved them wrong. Like, there's no reason for you to continue to think like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
love that. And I would just want to know, like, what made you want to like go into business and just share this advice and just assist other people? Because you've been selfish. You could have just done your own thing. You could have just kept it to yourself. Diamond only wants to be by herself. So why did you
Yeah.
decided to share it with everybody else?
Yeah. So for me, I decided to go into business out of necessity. So 4 years ago, I was the general manager of a gym. And when the company lost its lease, I lost my job and I qualified for unemployment. But, well, you're a mom, that unemployment in a 2-bedroom apartment doesn't necessarily work financially. So I did like Uber and Grubhub to kind of fill the gap. But then I was like, I still have to worry about taxes. Oh, yeah, no. Entrepreneurship, that seems like something that it encompasses these things. I get to make my own path. And yes, I have to worry about taxes, but I can also kind of control that a little bit. So it seemed like the best option for me in that moment. And so I took a chance. And like I said, I grew that business. And when in my personal journey, because I've been struggling with depression since I was 14, in my personal journey, when I found a solution for my mental health, and I started to gain clarity around like what mattered to me. So family time, being able to turn my phone off matters to me. Things like that. It was like, okay, well, this one business that you've spent a lot of time building, it gives you financial freedom, but it does not give you the time freedom that you were hoping for. So how can you still continue with this financial freedom and have the time freedom that really we all envision, right? We're like, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to make my own schedule. I'm gonna charge what I want. And it like forced me into seeing like I have this gift of helping people with their business. So I was doing it already for free anyway. I was just also doing the work of the graphic design and the marketing. So why not switch a model to something that's more in alignment with me? And what's alignment with me is hopping on screen, being my best me self in my highest alignment, and using what's up here in my brain and my resource bank of visual communications and brand strategy and marketing strategy and softwares and AI to help grow a business. And for me, like, even as I have struggles and I face imposter syndrome, and growing this is like, oh my gosh, like with my first business, it felt like I was lucky because I've heard the statistic, 70% of businesses fail within their first year. And I was like, and then this business happened, and I was like, oh, I see the statistic at work. Yeah, because this is hard.
It
And
is.
so, because I know how hard it is, and I know that many entrepreneurs start off as solo entrepreneurs because we don't have the money to invest in a team or anything like that.
Yeah.
I know the importance of having someone there and being like, don't give up. Like, I know it's hard right now. I've been where you are. Keep going. You're
Yeah.
gonna get there. So I became that person, and it's amazing.
That's awesome. I mean, you answered my next question, so I think that's beautiful. You're just on point. I love these conversations. See, and I think that's the best way to be in your highest self, like doing what you feel good. You know what I mean? That gives you joy, that gives you this natural high of just like, wow, this is my element, this is where I'm supposed to be. And that's how I feel like talking with other people and on my podcast. Like it brings me so much joy. And by the time I'm done, I have so much energy where I have to go walk it off.
Yes,
So yeah, so I can only imagine that when you are helping these clients and getting their business in the direction that you know that they can be, because the beauty of life is when you're truly there to help somebody, you're able to see someone's potential and expand it to grow as long as their mindset is able to be on board. Like you don't have to be able to see what I see, but I need you to see the potential that you have in yourself. As long as you can see that, jump on board, grab a ticket, let's ride this train out. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
that's how I feel. And when you said the mindset, again, I think that's beautiful because I guess it goes back to how you continuously help your imposter syndrome, because in reality I feel like I have it as well. You know what I mean? I think any person who's doing something that they love but knows it's controversial because
yeah,
it's not the normal 9 to 5 picket fence, whatever they want to call it, lifestyle, that it's taboo. You know what I mean? It's unorthodox. So for us to be in this imposter syndrome, it's more of like continuous talking to yourself and motivating yourself and being your own cheerleader. And nobody talks about that. You know what I
no,
mean? Nobody
no,
talks about
no
that.
one
I feel
talks
like
about
this is
it.
the thing that only people who know the struggle, feel the struggle every day, and continue to push on only know that you're your own backbone. Because despite how much you tell people and you interact with people and they can hype you up and love you the way that you want to at the moment, it's not the same because you come back to that imposter syndrome. Am I right?
100%, 100%. Oh my gosh. You just said so much that I
I
just
know sometimes
resonate with. Oh my gosh.
I know. And I think I want to ask you, if you could say something to your younger self, what would it be? Like if you could tell your younger self before you were 14, before you got into the depression, what could you tell yourself?
Gosh. I would tell myself that it gets better. There will come, and this is like even more personal because I'm like, you're like before, like that
Yeah.
14-year-old me. And it's just um like it gets better. You are you get an opportunity to be in control of your path, because for so many different points in my journey, like whether it was with my mom who was undiagnosed borderline personality, or going into the group home and being a part of the system which you have no control, and then going into the Air Force where you have no control, and then being a part of the corporate world where you really don't have
Mhm.
any control of your progression or anything like that. And so I would just say, like, it does get better. You do get to choose your own path. You just have to make the mindset shift, really, because it's
Yeah.
really the fear is the biggest thing that holds people back, or as I like to call it, what if brain, right?
Yeah.
Because many people have that brain, especially when it comes to something like business. Like, what if I start this business and I'm successful and then nothing? Or what if I start this business and then nothing happens? And you're putting yourself in this future place of like all of the bad possibilities of what could happen, and you don't do it because you're scared at that point because you're living in the future of something that hasn't even happened yet.
Yep, yep, that's very true. And one thing I always tell myself is that I can have as many what ifs as I can possibly think of. It's every scenario possible, any subject, every topic, whatever it may be, dictionary, go through it. What if I can do it? But it comes down to if I'm going in the positive side or if I'm going in the negative side. You know, that's one thing I always say because you can always go in the negative side for any and everything. But once you go in the positive, that impossible possibility becomes so possible when you allow your mind to go in the what if in the positive direction. And I think it's an amazing thing to be able to know. And when you said that you would tell your younger self that it'll be okay and things will get better. Like I felt that, you know what I mean? I felt that because let's be honest, when we're younger and we're going through a storm, as they say, or a hardship or a struggle or an obstacle, whatever you want to label it, go to your
Yeah.
dictionary, find whatever
Yeah.
you find, right? Use those big words, right?
Yeah.
It comes down to feeling like it's never gonna end.
Yeah.
It feels like it's never gonna end because I know what you mean. I can relate with you. I don't know your story, but my heart knows your heart. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I think that's the beauty of having this communication and speaking with other people is because you can realize like I'm not the only one that went through a hard time. I'm not the only one that struggled. I'm not the only one that hated my parents at a point. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm not the only one. And I think when more people listen to these conversations, they really are able to think about their life, their mindset, the way that they're going, everything, their family, their relationships, like everything in a whole different
Yeah.
perspective. So I really do appreciate you coming on my show. This has been such a great time. I don't want it to end. I feel like I could talk to you forever, Diamond. Goodness.
Same.
I'm gonna have to make an excuse to bring you back on the show and talk about another topic because girl, we can just keep on talking. So I guess to fully wrap up the show, what can be some lasting words that you can leave my audience off with to truly think about?
Yeah, I have three and they all kind of tie into each other. So the first is to feel the fear and do it anyway. Because number two, clarity comes from taking action. And in moments where you feel that fear and that resistance and things seem really hard and uncomfortable, just know that number three, comfort and growth can't coexist.
Mic drop. I need to get like a mini mic just so I can drop in these moments. Because goodness, so many guests have been mic dropping and I have no mic to drop. Oh
I've
my
appreciated
goodness.
it.
Yes, this has been such a great time, Diamond. Oh my goodness. It sucks that the time is ending, but thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys want to know more about Diamond, I have her lovely photo on my website. Go into her website. Don't worry, you'll find so much great things about her that you're not going to be disappointed. And if you're in the line of business or you're in this entrepreneurial, however you say it, ship, and you need some guidance or directions, go check her out. Go check her out. She has a sincere soul, and I promise you, she's gonna do it out of the goodness out of her heart. And we need more people like that. We need to have that type of community around us so that we can really feel like we're striving. Because I'm pretty sure he may be just like me and Diamond, and just had a how we had to be our own cheerleaders because the party around us wasn't necessarily cheering us on but hoping for our downfall. And it sucks that sometimes it'd be like that, but that's when you know that you deserve better and you deserve to continue to move forward. So that's it. That's the show. That's all I have for you. Always, always, always keep digging, y'all. Bye.